Hi, and welcome to the final installment of Chancellor Chat for this semester. Today, SGA Vice President Garrett Jones and SGA Secretary Natasha Regard will be taking your questions to our Chancellor.
What have you found is the most difficult aspect of your job as a Chancellor?
The greatest challenge has been working with the budget. I inherited a budget that was $1.5 million in the hole from last fiscal year that had to be fixed while I've been on board, and also had to borrow $1.5 million from the system just to begin the year we're in, and that doesn't cover the whole expected level of deficit that we're going to encounter for the year. So what we've had to be working on is trying to grow enrollment to help with more revenue, and that's the most positive way of approaching it, but also looking at cuts that we can continue to make as we go along so as to get closer to a balanced budget. And now we have given a notice we got on Friday afternoon, late in the afternoon, the governor has imposed a budget freeze for the state of Louisiana, and we don't know what the impact of that's going to be yet, but as he's looking at it, the probability is there will be some level of a budget cut that we will receive. If that occurs, and again it looks like it's quite probable that it will occur, that certainly will complicate things even more in terms of what we do in trying to work with through the budget. What I've attempted to do as Chancellor is not to focus on those budget issues for the campus that we've had. I've preferred to focus instead on the more positive things that we can do that ultimately will help our positioning to make it possible to get back in balance. So that's what I try to focus on more when I'm out and when out in the campus community. When I met with retired faculty and staff just this past Thursday at luncheon, I did not dwell much on the budget, but you've asked me, and I will tell you that when I'm back in my office, that's primarily takes up my office time working on the budget, trying to do those kind of things.
What is your primary focus as Chancellor of LSUS right now?
Well, I think it's trying to get the university engaged in many different ways. I believe that we obviously have to build our enrollment, and that's important, but just trying to look around the university for the many things that are happening. For example, the debate tournament that occurred this past weekend, it was the 40th anniversary of the debate tournament of a university that's only 47 years old. And as I walked around on Friday afternoon and then was back on Sunday talking to some of the students that were engaged from the different universities, over 20 universities or community colleges were here, that's exciting stuff. And as we look around to see what other kinds of things are we doing, what do we have here, trying to build recognition, build excitement around the opportunities that are here at LSUS. And from that, I think, then we start to take care of other problems. Now, if the governor complicates it with a budget cut, that makes it more challenging. But if we can try to solve some of our problems by staying proactive and talking about the kinds of things we're doing and build community, I think it's really important, and to connect with the community and being out connecting with the community. And you, both of you are out in the community as the other students are. And so things that you do or say or interact, those are important as well. It's not just what the Chancellor does. It's you all have that opportunity also, and you do that in your own time and way.
Thank you.
What are you doing to lessen the effects of decreased faculty at LSUS and to ensure that students are able to get their necessary classes?
You know, I can just look at the business school, and I was dean of that from '85 to '94, and when I left, there were 38 faculty and 10 staff persons. Today there are 26 faculty and 2 staff persons. So it's clear evidence of a much, much smaller faculty and staff component just in that one program area. And I know that is true across the campus. And with your majors, you probably found the same thing, that it's challenging. So, of course, that's a concern. One of the things that's different also is that the enrollment is less now than when I left in '94. It was 4,600 students, and most of those students were on campus. Today, it's around 4,300, but 500 of those students are dual enrollment high school students. Many students are online, and so we don't even see them here, which makes parking easier for you guys, but it doesn't make it feel as there's as many students as there truly are here. So those are, of course, challenges to us. So coming back to your question, however, what do we do? We're attempting to look to see how it is that we get students through so that they have the courses that they need. In some cases, that requires having independent studies being done, and in some cases, we have to look and see if there's times when we have to substitute a course or courses. That's not ideal. That's not what we want to be doing. But it is a challenge as we're trying to build the enrollment up further. We offer a wide array of majors relative to our size, and there is the possibility of cutting back that array, but in doing so, obviously there would be faculty and students who would say, not my area. So, you know, there are some areas that are emerging with areas of opportunity that, such in the sciences, what's happening with computer science and information systems area, that are very strong right now in the region. Some of those areas will cause probably resources over time to be moving to support, but it's a continuous challenge, and a strategy committee that we're creating a planning council is going to be addressing those exact issues that you are raising. They're serious issues. They need to be addressed.
If students have concerns that they'd like to address to you, what's the best way to contact you?
Well, they can always contact me, and people continue to kid me and say, you aren't serious, you give out your email. And I do. It's just simply larry.clark@lsus.edu, and you're welcome to do that. You're welcome to send an email if you forget that, simply to chancellor@lsus.edu. My secretary, Vicki Fentress, gets those, and we have an agreement that she'll send them all through to me, even ones that would say, what's up with this, you dummy? Send it through. Let me see that. Let me work with that. What I attempt to do is then to have emails or communications to me otherwise routed so that students can get answers that they want. I obviously am not the Wizard of Oz. I don't have the answers to many to questions that students might be asking, but I can help to facilitate perhaps a student's question that they might have. And the other thing is just taking it through the chain of command itself, if you will, in the areas that, and the deans of the colleges, or through the vice chancellors for student affairs or academic affairs, if a student has a problem. I would much rather see that a student comes forward with a concern or issue or problem that they may be confronting than to lose their enrollment with us and learn later the student left because of this or for that reason. And so, you know, I would encourage students to come forward. University faculty don't tend to like to hear you students called as customers, but in reality you are. And it's something that we need to be concerned about in terms of how well are we doing in working with you. That doesn't mean that we say that you get to waive a quiz that's upcoming because it would be inconvenient for something you have for a social obligation, but it does mean that we try to work with you in other ways in terms of supporting you in your experiences you're having here on campus and what you have for your needs.
That concludes our final installment of Chancellor Chat for the semester. We hope you have a wonderful break, pilots, and we'll see you in the spring. For the Alma Just Student News, I'm Hannah Sprawls.